I think what we need to think about is what would a mobilization look like that was more representative of the campaign itself. Because the important thing I think about the campaign was that it represented a much broader level of mobilization than we had seen before, and the opportunity to see people engaged who had not been engaged before. And I'm talking about in states like Mississippi and South Carolina, which, you know, the Democratic Party often automatically cedes to the Republican Party, where you have a demographic that's, say, 36% black and votes 90% Democratic. Those folk aren't mobilized within ACORN or within Working Families Party, but we saw a different level of mobilization and engagement as a result. There was little place for that to go post-election, and a lot of talk about what to do. I think when we saw that that was pulled, or at least those efforts were pulled into the Democratic Party, I think that was a mistake.
Obama assumed that once he was in office, he would be able to exercise power.
Exactly.
When really his power came from his grassroots base. It came from the people he had mobilized. And so the effort, the pledge was to keep that mobilization going, to organize David Plouffe, Organizing for America, and it quickly became sort of an appendage of the White House that co-opted. It wasn't encouraged to be independent. It wasn't encouraged to act. They were kind of embarrassed by it, you know. Now that we're in the big leagues, you know, we have to play by the rules, et cetera, and so forth. And so once he kind of self-co-opted himself into this institutional framework and lost sight of the fact, you know, that his strength was really the strength of his base. The Republicans sort of understood that, the Democrats didn't. So you had this weird situation where there was very little effort to mobilize people. Remember, the financial crisis did not start on in January of 2009. It started in 2007 and 2008. Right. And the organizations of the progressive base, Move On, and many of the others, they didn't want to hear about it.